Alright, hello there everyone, my name is X Factor, and welcome to my tutorial on if you're new to Pokemon TCG. So starting off, after you complete the tutorial in this game, you want to go to Trainer Challenges. Now, Trainer Challenges is, you go up here to your left-hand corner, there'll be this play button, you click it, Trainer Challenges are at the very top, and I suggest you complete the Hidden Deaths. So, the reason for this is because this deck gives you cards such as in the Lapras, Articuno, and the Gyarados. You want those cards for this deck that I'm going to be showing you. So, if you want to copy me, I went through and I beat all these people with the deck. I beat a few people with it in Platinum. I think. Yeah, I beat 2 people. So, after you're done with that, you want to go over to your deck manager. And you want to create a new deck. And you want to click Expanded. So, Expanded basically just allows you to play any cards from any time. There's some things like, there's Legacy that allows you to play from older expansions, Standard, which is new cards, and stuff like that. So, I already created the deck for the purpose of this video. So, the cards that you want in this deck are Lapras. The reason why you want Lapras is for its Airing Running ability, where basically you attach 1 energy and then you search your deck for a trainer card, and you put it in your hand. Articuno for its Find Ice ability, which allows you to put 3 water energies in your hand. Now, water energies are these. Basically, you can only attach 1 energy per turn, but there are some like abilities that allow you to attach more or search your deck for more. So next is up, we have Magikarp. Magikarp, so there's this thing called Basic Pokemon, and Basic Pokemon means at the start of the turn, you have to play a Basic Pokemon. So what can you tell if it's a Basic Pokemon? If you look at the top left-hand corner, you'll see that it says Basic. As you can see, if we look at someone like this Gyarados, it has a Stage 1. So, you don't want to play Magikarp outright. You want to kind of use him as just on your bench in order to set up, because this deck resolves around Gyaradoses. Because these will probably be your main damage dealers, because they do a lot of damage. For instance, this Gyarados does Aqua Tail, which is 90 times plus 3 for each heads, and for each time you attach a water energy, you get to flip a coin, and if you get heads. So next we have Greninja. Greninja is supposed to sit on your bench and do damage with its Water Shuriken ability. Because once during your turn, before you may attack, you may discard a Water Energy from your hand, and if you do, put 3 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Then you have Lugia. So, when you very first start the game, you are going to gain a GX. In the past, GXs that I've gained are Gyarados GX, Keldeo GX, Tauros GX, things like that. So what you want to do is, whatever GX you get, whether it's a normal or if it's a water type, add it to your deck. If it's any other type, I do not recommend adding it to your deck. Focusing on just one type of, like, one element of Pokemon is actually really good for you. And you can add in normal cards, because normal cards, they don't take a special energy to use. You can just attach any energy to them, and they can attack. Unlike, let's say, Gyarados, where you have to attach water energies for it to attack. Or you can add things such as rainbow energies and stuff, but I don't think you won't have any at this point. So next we want to go into trainer cards. So the trainer cards I would be using is Professor Letter. This is just to search your deck for basic energies, because I don't have any Pokemon that allow me to search my deck other than Articuno. Roller Skates. Now, Roller Skates is what we call a deck thinner, where basically it just draws and it thins your deck to find other cards. Next, we have the town map. This is just in there just so you can look at your prize cards. I'll show you what prize cards are when I get into the matches. We have Ultra Balls. Now, Ultra Balls make it to where you discard 2 cards from your hand, and then you search your deck for a Pokemon. This can be useful in cases like, I don't know, you need like a Lugia or something, or just an evolved form Pokemon. But another thing we have are Dive Balls. Dive Balls search your deck for a water Pokemon, and they don't require you to take anything out of your hand or discard anything. So next we have this. This is what we call a Stadium card, which means once you're going to play the Stadium card, and it basically affects the battle. For this case, this thing just heals 30 damage from your Pokemon. Now you have a Professor Juniper. So there are like 7 different professors. I use Professor Juniper because I like the artwork. Basically, each professor, you can add any professor that's a supporter, and it says on the bottom, discard your hand and draw 7 cards. So make sure you have at least one in there, because if like you have a bad hand but you have a Professor Juniper, you can use that. It discards your hand, but then you can draw 7 new cards. Or if you just have a Professor Juniper in your hand, you can just play her and you draw 7 cards. So next I have Tierno. He's also just a deck thinner, and he just draws 2 cards. And you have Muscle Bands. So Muscle Bands, basically, they make it to where your Pokemon does 20 more damage. Now, these can come in handy because you never know when you might need just that little extra damage to knock out your opponent's Pokemon. And then you have basic energies. I have 4 special energies in here for times that I really need them, and stuff like that. So now for coins, it doesn't matter what coin you use. I just have these coins because I grind and I gain these coins. It doesn't matter on which deck box you choose. Neither does it matter which one you use, which card sleeve you use. So now I'm going to be getting into some matches with some online players. And I will... So it seems here that I found myself an opponent. So this is using a metal and leaf deck, or grass deck. Which, so you got to be careful, because water Pokemon in this deck, only Greninja is weak to... weak to grass types, while Gyarados is different and is weak to lightning or electric. So this is what we call a mulligan. A mulligan is when you have no basic Pokemon. I went over what a basic Pokemon was earlier in the video, but as you can see, we have no basic Pokemon. The only Pokemon we do have is Gyarados, and they have a... but he's a stage 1 Pokemon. So now we do have a basic Pokemon. So at first, I'm going to put up Gyarados, or Articuno. Articuno's just going to be there to tank damage, kind of, and to allow me to kind of set up while I get my bench set up. Yeah. It's not good. Alrighty, let's see here. So I can't use Finite. So, depending on whether you go first or second, if you go first, you can attack on your first turn. But you can set up quicker than your opponent. But if you go second, you can attack first, along with using you can attack on your first turn. So, I say go second. I went first because why not? But I do recommend you go second most of the time. So, now we're just waiting on my opponent to make a move. So this is Shaman. Basically, it's just a special card. Can't have more than one. Interesting. So we have Lugia here. I'm gonna play this Tunero. Okay, we have a Gyarados. This is good. So now we can play that. So the good thing about Gyarados is its retreat or not Gyarados, Articuno is its retreat cost, because if you look down here in the bottom left-hand corner, see there's a retreat. So retreating basically allows you to basically click this button, and you can switch it with one of your Pokemon on your bench. So I'm going to set up Gyarados here. I don't think I need to use that, but I am going to use Find Ice. Now, we wait. Now, he will try. Oh. So there are 3 different ways you can win in this game. If your opponent concedes, which if you want to concede, it's just if you click the option button, or the spinning gear wheel thingy, and you can click concede. I'm not going to do that. Another way you can win is if you take all of your opponent's prize cards, or if you take all your opponent's prize cards. Basically, there's 6 prize cards. You'll draw them at the start of the game, and stuff like that. Interesting. So another thing you want to be careful about is you gotta watch. So each time your opponent attacks you, they'll put the damage counters on the side of your Pokemon, and once that reaches your Pokemon's HP, which is in the top right-hand corner, your Pokemon will be knocked out. So at the very start of the game, you will draw 7 cards. And once again, if you don't find any basic Pokemon there, you will mulligan, and you will draw another 7 cards. But your opponent, gets to, each time you mulligan, your opponent gains a card. So you gotta be careful of that. I could actually win this turn if he doesn't have another basic Pokemon. Which I just win this turn anyway. So now I win this turn because my opponent... So the third way to win is if your opponent has no bench Pokemon, but they do have a... If I were to knock this guy out right now, which I am, I win because he has no more bench Pokemon to put up, unlike I do. So I win this match. And then each time you win this match, so when you start off, there will be this ladder here. And basically, you go through the ladder, you'll gain coins, you'll gain packs, and you kind of want to grind or kind of play a lot to gain these things. I've already completed my ladder and stuff. It took me like 3 days, but yeah. Also, you'll have your daily rewards, so you might want to complete these every day because then you gain Pokecoins. And after you gain Pokecoins, you can do things such as, if we go to the shop here, which is in your top left-hand corner, as you can see, there's shop here. So you can redeem packs. Actually, right now, as we speak, I can redeem up to 12 packs, but I'm saving my coins for other things. So what I recommend once you gain enough coins, I say about 500 coins, you go over to the decks in your shop, and you pick from one of these decks to use. So the reason why I say this is because some of these decks are very powerful. For instance, the Necrozma deck is a very powerful deck. Can one-shot most things, and it's just powerful. Next, I do recommend using the Charizard deck. This is a very, very good deck. I actually have a deck myself that uses this. Next is the Blastoise deck, because this one allows you to gain up energies pretty quick, and basically you can destroy your opponent with it. And other things like that. If you prefer to use a different deck, I'm sure if you go through here, there's other decks that you could use. All the way back to... So I'm going to demonstrate one more match here. Basically, just get it hammered in there. I'm going to go first again, because why not? So at this point, I have a whole bunch of deck cards I could put up, but I'm going to put up Lapras, because Lapras is probably the most useful out of all these. So now, I just have to do this. Alright, so I'm going to attach a water engine, and we're going to click done. Because that's all I can do. So, I'm going to go over these, you see, these GX thing, like, I don't know how to describe them. They're kind of like, oh, what are they kind of like? They're kind of like, so basically, some of your Pokemon will have GX moves. Actually, I can demonstrate this in a second. Give me 1 second. Okay, if I use error running now, let me search through my deck real quick for Lapras, or Lugia. So Lugia, as you can see in here, you see this Lost Purge GX. You can only use a GX move one time in a game. So you want to use those kind of sparingly. So if I win here, okay, so they will be able to search their deck for another Pokemon. So I'm guessing this is what they call, this is what you call a kind of, what's it called? It's like a, actually I have no idea what this guy's deck is. I thought I knew what it was, but I didn't expect him to have a Altaria. So I don't know what this guy's deck is. We'll find out. I think it's basically, for each Pokemon that's on your bench, a Pokemon will do more damage. Okay, that's just a Snorlax. Ah, I know what deck this is. Yeah. I know what deck this is. Okay, so this guy has a pretty confident deck. This deck is kind of good. It's kind of not at the same time. It depends. It's situational. So, to start this off, I'm going to look through my deck for Gyarados. We're going to play the Gyarados. We're going to evolve. So, I got to be careful here, because he could possibly one-shot me with a lot of his Pokemon. So, basically, the point... So, I recommend you gain quite a few coins before you try to, like, Oh, yeah. So basically, this is a Snorlax deck. Basically, add a whole bunch of basic Pokemon to your bench, or just Pokemon to your bench, and if you do, he can use this, and it does a lot of damage. To put it simple. Oh, he can already attack me this turn. So you're gonna come across these confident players that actually have been playing this game for a long time, and you're just gonna be at a disadvantage. There's nothing you can really do. But if you keep playing, you will come across other players, and you'll be able to gain up some cards. So I recommend getting around 1,000 coins, and I recommend the Charizard deck. The Charizard deck will probably you'll have the most, like, how do I put this? The most success with that deck. So that's a deck that I would recommend. Oh, it discards it. Well, that's fine. So I'm actually going to set up Lugia here. Reason for this is because I could potentially come back with this deck. And I'm basically using Articuno as cannon fodder to tank an attack. I don't know why I said tank like that, but yeah. Must discard a card in order to use this card ability. Interesting. Yeah. So basically, there's this little video online. So he basically copied this deck because some people online, if you want to look up online, you can look up Pokemon TCG online decks. And there are actually there's a lot of decks that you can use or that people use. And some of them are good, some of them aren't. Some of them are kind of funny, some of them are trolly. But that's basically the point of the deck. And he basically copied this deck from online, which is whatever. I'm not salty, but yeah. So I'm gonna use my GX move, which basically just allows me to put him in the lost zone, and he's probably gonna have another VMAX. I think he does. We'll see here. So yes, he does. So he kind of just wins either way here. So, depending on if he gets a double energy. What? Interesting. Very interesting. Man, it's gone through a lot of cards. This is a very, very good deck. So yeah, he just kind of wins here because, yeah. So I'm going to concede here because no matter what, I can't really do anything. You're going to come across these players. Don't get frustrated. You will come across other players. So yeah, we'll just let myself die here, and then I'm going to concede. So anyway, guys, I've showed you a good deck to start off with. So once again, as I was saying earlier, I recommend you get in around 1,000 coins, and I recommend you purchase this deck. So save up till and buy 2 of these decks. This will give you 4 Charizards to use. This also gives you some Nidoqueens, and with the already cards you have in your collection, you can use those cards and hopefully make this deck better. So I have a deck that you could transition into. So this deck is after me, like, I've been playing for a little while with this account, and I've made this deck with this Charizard deck that I've gotten from opening packs and trading. I'll show you how to trade in a second. But this is like, I don't know, this would probably cost you around like 3,000 Pokecoins to make, which it should take you like 3 days to get that many. So, as you can see here, there's just a couple of these. If you do all your daily challenges and daily rewards, you can gain Pokecoins pretty quick. Here are the Pokemon, and some trainer cards I recommend you try to get or trade for are Evolutions Incense and Rare Candies. You can pause the video and read these, what they do. That's what I recommend, and other things such as Welders. I don't know, what did I just do? I discarded a Rare Candy. So, things such as that, and in order to trade, you go over here to trade, and basically look at public offers. You kind of want to keep it to, what is this? Who trades for that? But anyway, you might find a couple of weird trades that you don't want to accept, but yeah. Try to see if you can find anything that you want or use, and yeah. So anyway, guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.